Are these videos from the Israelis or these statements from Israeli ministers that clearly demonstrate intent? Is this propaganda that can just be brushed aside, maybe in the here and now, but in the future, will there not be a digital blueprint that makes it undeniable that this was intended to be a genocide?
And the South African case before the ICJ made this absolutely clear. They laid out the genocidal rhetoric of the regime in Jerusalem. And we did the same thing with our film Gaza for Al Jazeera's investigative unit. The essential point of that film is when people show you who they are, believe them. No one can say they didn't know. The Israelis have been jumping up and down and shouting from the rooftops for the last 2 years that this is about ethnic cleansing. Human Rights Watch, Amnesty, UN organizations, it's blindingly obvious that what the Israelis are attempting to do, and they'll continue doing it as long as they can get away with it, which is always what the Israelis do, what they are attempting to make the Gaza Strip unlivable. And they are attempting to make it as unlivable as possible. They're now moving into Deir Bala, which is the last town standing.
That's where a lot of international organizations are based, the ones that remain, the ones that are crying to the world. Yeah.
It's the old facts on the ground thing. They are trying to, when the clock finally runs down for the Americans, they are trying to present a situation where whatever you think, they can't live there. The Gazans just have to move out because it's completely uninhabitable. That's what they're trying to do. I think what they want to do is to ship them into huge sort of transit camps in the Sinai and from there scatter them around the world. I think that's the Israeli game plan. I think, again, we're back to this point that the European sort of political establishment, particularly the sort of liberal establishment, can only see Israel through the prism of the Holocaust. And therefore, you have this enormous historic injustice where the absolutely and very conventional Palestinian struggle for freedom and self-determination, the Palestinian anti-colonial struggle, is crammed entirely artificially into the paradigm of traditional European anti-Semitism. The Palestinians say we want civil, political, human rights. You don't like Jews, do you? It's racist gaslighting. Let's call it out for what it is. We impose our traumas, our preoccupations, our guilt on the Palestinian people, and it is racist gaslighting, and it's disgusting. And I think the number of people who still fall for that is shrinking and shrinking. Unfortunately, those people tend to be older white people in positions of power. But I think the waters are rising all around them and they just don't see the waters rising. Normally, Holocausts happen in a situation, very often in a colonial settler situation. You want to get rid of the indigenous population. Now, ideally, you'd like them to bugger off and go somewhere else, and you treat them appallingly and kill large numbers of them in order to facilitate that. Now, I think with the Palestinians, it is genocide. I think they're absolutely right. It fits into genocide. But there's types and types of genocide. Of course, of course there is a difference. What the Israelis want is as much land as possible with as few Palestinians as possible. And that means killing a lot of Palestinians. But for the most part, what they want to do is to get rid of them. So I think there is actually a sort of difference with the Nazi Holocaust. But I think it's absurd to tell people they can't draw any parallels at all, particularly when Netanyahu made a speech, I think it was a couple of years ago now. He sounded as if he was almost consciously echoing Mein Kampf. He was almost trolling people. It was extraordinary. And I think you have to be allowed to make the parallels where they apply.